Welcome to the world of Jewish food. These are kosher American Wagyu steaks, and I found them here at a restaurant called Meat in New York City, and together they cost nearly $500.
Today, I'm on a mission to learn about the fascinating world of Jewish food.
Oh, yeah.
Starting from the very affordable.
It's got some sting to it.
Then moving to the most iconic.
I can already feel it with my fingertips that I'm gonna like this.
And by the end of this video, you'll learn what it takes to make the most expensive kosher food in all of New York City.
Am I gonna have a spiritual experience?
Absolutely.
But first, something much more affordable, coming in at less than $4. However, there's a catch. It's a food often described as bland, gray, and slightly off-putting, even by Jewish people themselves.
My parents tried to get me and my brother to eat it, would call it fishy cake. That worked on my brother, it did not work on me.
Sure, adding the word cake.
Yes.
It's called gefilte fish, and most Jews won't touch it unless it's certified kosher. But what exactly is kosher?
Kosher comes from the Bible, comes from the Torah. For something to be considered kosher, it all has to be done in a very specific way from the beginning till the end. If we would break it down to something very simple, fruits and vegetables are all kosher. With fish, the two defining character traits is that it has to have fins and scales. Bugs can't be eaten. Chicken, yes. With meat, it has to be that any of the animals chew their cud and they have split hooves.
What about this?
Not kosher.
This?
Not kosher.
This?
No.
Or this?
They're not kosher.
Do you mind if I ask, do you eat kosher?
Yes, strictly.
That seems difficult.
We're here with Mendy, and Mendy is Jewish.
How many non-Jewish folks do you have coming in here?
He runs Rosenfeld,
Very few.
the go-to spot for Jewish folks getting fish done the kosher way.
This is a fish market? Seafood market? A small seafood market?
I guess a condensed seafood market.
Places like this are certified kosher, so patrons don't have to stare at a fillet and wonder where it came from.
Everything I know about Jewish food, people, and culture is from Adam Sandler's songs.
Put on your yarmulke, here comes Hanukkah.
That's it. So I have a lot to learn. The first question I have is, what is the difference between Jewish food and kosher food?
They're really synonymous. Nowadays you have a lot of kosher style food, which means they were always traditionally Jewish, but they're not so kosher because it's not certified and not fully kosher.
Today we're here for a special food. This is going to be my entry point into Jewish food. So what is gefilte fish?
Gefilte fish is essentially a ground white fish. Put it into a roll.
First up, the fish gets filleted. No shortcuts here.
Strictly kosher fish over here, which means it's only fins and scales.
Eggs are cracked in bulk.
In Judaism, in the Torah, it says that you're not allowed to eat blood. Blood represents life.
So if you crack an egg and detect a tiny blood spot in the yolk, that's not kosher and it needs to be tossed out. Onions are sliced, then head straight to the blender. And once the fillet's ready, it hits the grinder, turning that fresh fish into Pacific puree. Next, the eggs go into the mixer, followed by onions, sugar, white pepper, and then the fish. Mix it up until everything comes together into one smooth, sticky paste. These steps might look simple, but every single one follows strict kosher law. For example, all the tools from the knife to the grinder can only be used for kosher foods. No mixing, no exceptions. And every ingredient has to be kosher certified or naturally kosher. It's that strict. Now for the fun part, shaping our fish glue. Weigh out about 3 pounds of that mix, wrap it tight in parchment paper, and roll it firm. Next, those fish rolls take a dip in a bubbling broth made from carrots, onions, sugar, and fish skin.
There's a lot of traditional foods that it's nostalgic, but they don't necessarily crave for it. So is this a food that's actually delicious?
From my personal point of view, that's my go-to when I'm looking for fish.
I can't wait.
Once it's done, slice it up, serve it cold, and top it with a carrot slice. On the side, a fiery beetroot horseradish paste. Time to give gefilte fish a try. Food like this brings people together, but outside occasions like these, most of us don't really have anyone to open up to. Talking to someone sounds simple, but finding the right person is the hard part, and that's where BetterHelp can make a difference.
BetterHelp is an online platform that makes it easy to get started with professional support from credentialed therapists. Listen, I've been to some of the most extreme places on earth. I've eaten wild foods, met all kinds of people, and pushed my limits a lot. But no matter how far I go, some patterns still follow me. For me, it's control. When life gets too stressful, my instinct is to take it all on by myself, and it's been that way since I can remember. I grew up in Minnesota, in a small community where people didn't really talk about what they were feeling. You worked hard, kept your head down, and figured things out on your own. Asking for help wasn't strength, it was weakness. But that kind of thinking only gets you so far before it starts eating away at you. So I started therapy, and BetterHelp made it simple enough that I actually stuck with it. It's completely online, which means I can message, chat, or video call from anywhere. It just fits into my life no matter how busy things get. You start by filling out a short questionnaire about what you're dealing with and the kind of therapist you feel most comfortable with, and then you're matched as soon as possible. If it's not the right fit, you can switch therapists anytime at no extra cost. With more than 7,000 reviews and a 4.3 rating on Trustpilot, it's a service you can really trust. So if there's a pattern in your life that's holding you back, maybe it's time to talk to someone who can help you see it differently. Real strength is about being brave enough to ask for help when you need it. Visit betterhelp.com/besteverfood or click the link in the description for 10% off your first month. Now, back to the show.
Joining my meal today,
Thank you for joining me.
Eitan Bernat,
Good to be with you.
a young Jewish TV personality and online presence, here to share what Jewish culture means today.
When it comes to eating seafood, what is okay, what is not okay?
Yeah, so kosher fish, the fish needs to have fins and scales.
So what is something that has fins but no scales?
Like a shark would be not kosher.
Shark is delightful, but I understand. What else?
No octopus, no shellfish.
No snails?
Definitely no snails.
Really?
Yes.
And I don't say this to be disrespectful, but perhaps a long time ago, someone ate shellfish and they got vibriosis and passed away, and then someone was like, we shouldn't do that again.
No, so most of the rules of keeping kosher, it is not meant to be based in something that we understand or necessarily even logic. It's just meant to be, passed down from God specifically. So not everything has a rhyme or reason.
Okay. When is the last time you ate this?
It's got to be at least a year or two. It's a classic start on Shabbat.
Shabbat dinner is a traditional Jewish meal observed on Friday night to welcome the Sabbath, a day of rest beginning at sundown Friday and ending Saturday evening.
So you haven't had this for at least 100 Shabbats.
At least. Growing up as a Jewish child, it's a kind of a dreaded part of the meal, and then you eventually come to love it.
Dreaded.
Yes.
So I don't know any of the stereotypes or stigmas associated to it. It looks good. It looks like a fish loaf. We should just taste the naked gefilte fish first.
Do you know what we say when we cheers?
What do you say? L'chaim?
L'chaim!
Cheers.
Those are very good quality.
It's great. You can definitely feel the loafy texture of it, but it's very soft. When you eat it, it has a ton of delicious seasonings. On the back end, there's a little bit of fishiness in a good way, but it's not overwhelmingly
Not at
fishy.
all.
And beyond that, there's an interesting amount of sweetness inside, like a dessert fish.
Yes, we have found today some very good gefilte fish. There's some scary gefilte fish out there. Well, they sell it in a jar. I would not wish it on my worst enemy.
Okay. This is the horseradish. It's beetroot juice, so it's dyed everything this beautiful kind of dark scarlet. Also, when you go to the bathroom later, you need to remind yourself you don't have colon cancer.
Yes.
You just ate beets, that's all. This is also very sweet. I'm a big beet fan, so it's nice to see it paired with the horseradish. It's got some kick.
Clears the nose a little bit.
Ooh, it's like taking a hit of wasabi. I felt my brain melting a little bit. I've never seen this combination before. It's so good, I love it. Later today, I have a lot more Jewish food I'm gonna be trying. And along the way, I want to try to learn more about the Jewish community. And so I have a question that I think a lot of people wonder. What is it that makes somebody to be considered Jewish?
Judaism is an ethno-religion, so it is both a religion and an ethnicity, and there's many kinds of Jews.
The Jewish story stretches back thousands of years to ancient Israel, where Judaism began, one of the world's oldest monotheistic faiths.
Religiously, according to Orthodox Judaism, someone whose mother is Jewish, whether or not you practice the religion.
Oh, wow.
And at the same time, people can convert to Judaism. If someone who's from China who grew up an atheist converts to Judaism, they are just as Jewish as I am.
After centuries of migration, Jewish communities spread across Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East. Today, about 7.5 million Jewish people live in the United States.
The Jewish population in New York, and especially in the tri-state area, is the second largest Jewish population in the world and has absolutely affected New York food and culture.
You can see their heritage everywhere. Schools, markets, bakeries, and countless kosher restaurants keeping centuries of tradition on the plate.
Today, the mission of this video is to see if I spend more money on Jewish food, will that equal better Jewish food? This gefilte fish costs $2.75, but by the end of this video, I'm gonna be eating a steak that costs over $100.
But before we get there, something golden, chewy, and fresh from the oven.
Dan, put her there.
Nice to meet you, man.
I would wager to guess that many Americans don't even know the origin story of the bagel.
Bagels originate in Eastern Europe. It's one of the most popular parts of Jewish cuisine in Krakow and Poland.
Brought over by immigrants and baked into one of the most iconic foods in the USA today. Here at Shelsky's, it's made the old-fashioned way.
So when they came here to North America, the big thing that changed is the bagels have been constantly growing in size for the last 75 years or so.
Just like Americans.
Just like Americans. So we wanted to recreate what bagels were in the past.
First comes the dough, water, then brown sugar, yeast, malt powder, and a whole lot of flour. All mixed together until it turns sticky, smooth, and ready to rise.
What makes bagels unique is that they're firm crust on the outside and they're chewy texture on the inside.
The massive amount of dough is handled with care. Then divided and rolled, each piece shaped by hand, one by one, into perfect little rings.
The world is filled with many things that I don't know about.
Each ring takes a warm bath before hitting the oven.
I think most people just assume that they're just rolled like this and then baked off. But for bagel, traditionally then boiled first and then baked, which creates that really intense chew and the texture we're looking for, and creates this maximum surface area that really gets the bagel to where you want it to be.
Can't control the rhythm in me. I just need to dance.
Oh, I can already feel it with my fingertips that I'm gonna like this. The outside is a little bit more like a bread leather, and then on the inside, very doughy. That's very nice. Obviously, you're holding your bagels here to a very high standard.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
want to know, are bagels the biggest culinary contribution from the Jewish community here in the United States of America?
Bagels is definitely like up there and probably number one. So when they came here to North America in the late 19th century, early 20th century, they were popular within the Jewish communities. But then after World War II, bagel rolling machines were invented. So to produce more of them and freeze them and send them out to grocery stores nationwide.
The bagel is just a vessel. The soul is what's on the inside. There are plenty of options, but if you're keeping it kosher, a timeless classic is a bagel and lox.
What are lox?
Lox is both a generic term for salmon.
The bagel gets sliced open. A thick smear of cream cheese goes on each half.
Fish and dairy has always been partners in Jewish cuisine for thousands of years. Because of Jewish dietary law, you couldn't consume meat and dairy products together.
Oh.
Then comes the silky lox.
Traditionally, lox would be salmon that is salted and brined. Over time, we still use the word lox to describe all the smoked salmon.
Top it with capers, onions, and a few fresh tomato slices. Cut it, plate it, and it's ready to eat. Joining my meal, Frieda, born and raised in Brooklyn's Jewish community and a true expert on her culture, language, and food.
This idea that you can't have meat and dairy together, do you have any idea where that comes from?
So in the Bible, it is written that you're not allowed to cook calf in its mother's milk. Then it has been reinterpreted into a bunch of rules in which not only do you not mix milk and meat, but also you don't mix it in your belly, by which I mean if you eat meat, you then have to wait 6 hours for it to digest, and then you can eat dairy again.
Wow. So to be clear, with this rule, somebody eating kosher cannot eat a cheeseburger.
Exactly.
But they can't even have a burger with chocolate milk.
No, exactly.
Perhaps these limitations were kind of a function to help bring to life foods that never would have been. And so maybe what we're looking at right now wouldn't exist without these rules. Should we give it a shot?
Yes, let's do it.
First of all, this is huge. I already tried the plain bagel in the back. Delicious. Here we have a thick layer of cream cheese. We have the lox and capers. Let's give it a shot.
Chaim.
Oh, it's the best bagel I've ever had in my life. That's really good.
I love it.
I feel like you've had more bagels than I have. And most of the bagels I've bought came in a bag from the grocery store.
That's sad for you.
It truly is, because I didn't know something like this existed. And now I need to level up. Now, when I eat it, the only downside to the bagel is you have to sharpen your teeth, because that leathery outside of the bread is tough to perforate at first. And so you could squeeze everything out of the bagel. But once you get through that thicker outer portion of the bagel, then you get that nice, delicious pop of flavor on the inside. Super rich, creamy cream cheese. The salmon is just salty enough. It's smoked, it's flavorful. Plus the onion and tomato add another layer to it.
I love how you describe it. There's something very, very special to a New York bagel. It's supposed to be a fresh bagel. It's supposed to be eaten, not toast, and it just has that chewiness.
The not toasted part is interesting, because if you're buying bagels off the shelf like 99% of Americans are, you have to toast it. Or else it's unpalatable. You almost can't eat it. But this is perfect. It's just a completely different product to taste like. I want to talk a little bit more about you and your background. You are a tour guide.
Yes. I give tours of the Hasidic neighborhood, which is this neighborhood where Hasidic Jews live in Williamsburg, Brooklyn.
I think that's really important because the group you're talking about, it's a very insular community in a city of like 10 million people. So everyone knows they're there, and I'm sure a lot of people have questions. So when you do tours, what is something that surprises people most about the Hasidic Jew community?
Probably the kosher phones. Almost everyone's walking around with like a flip phone that is kosher.
Kosher phones?
Yes.
When it comes to the Jewish community, not everyone practices Judaism the same way. On one end of the spectrum, you've got the Hasidic Jews, an ultra-Orthodox group known for their deep devotion, strict traditions, and tight-knit way of life.
So I grew up Hasidic. One of the things that is like a main feature in that community is large families. My mother had 15 children.
Okay, my mom had 6 kids.
Wow.
When I was born, I was like, hey, take it easy. And then she had 2 more. I could talk at an early age.
Their rules shape everything from what they eat to how they dress.
If you walk around, you're gonna see people with long coats, and the women wear wigs, and the beards, and the side curls.
And even how marriages are arranged.
When I was 18, my parents set me up with the first boy I met in my life. That's because there are laws around keeping the sexes separate. Like a man and a woman are not allowed to be alone in a closed room. You're not allowed to have physical contact. Sometimes couples will date but will not touch at all until they're married.
Interesting. I did the opposite. Once I got married, then we stopped touching each other.
I see.
Huh.
I think that's...
But Judaism isn't one size fits all.
Here's a list of people who are Jewish.
You got to walk the walk, you gotta talk.
Over time, other branches have formed,
To break some rules.
each reflecting a different level of commitment to religious law and tradition.
My mother was born a Jew, which makes me full Jew.
There are stark contrasts, like the two men we're about to meet. One holds every ancient rule. The other blends faith with modern life and has become a well-known name. But first, the most expensive kosher meal you'll find in New York City, and it comes from Japan.
I've had the best of the best when it comes to Wagyu beef in Japan. I've gone to Kobe, I've gone to the slaughterhouses, I've had teppanyaki cooked right in front of me. What? It seemed like as good as beef can get until now.
Welcome to Meat, a restaurant in the heart of New York's Jewish community. Here at Meat, they're rewriting what kosher food can be.
Daniel, put her there.
Hey.
Meet Danny Branover, the owner, and the man behind this bold idea.
Today I'm going to be trying one of your most expensive steaks. What is a LUBAVITCH Wagyu steak?
The idea is to combine a very materialistic aspect of eating a cow with a set of very spiritual aspect of kosher. And the combination has to be, at high level, both the beef and the adherence to the philosophy. LUBAVITCH is just one other level where we want to make sure that the person slaughtering it has to believe in it and understands the next level, not just the mechanics of it, but really why do you want to do it? Why is it so important? And that gives it a whole new level of kosher.
This isn't just kosher, this is like kosher plus.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
LUBAVITCH is a Hasidic Jewish group known for their deep devotion and commitment to keeping tradition alive. The slaughtering process should be fast, humane, and sacred. The blood is completely drained. Then the meat gets salted and washed carefully to remove any remaining blood traces.
Part of being a kosher restaurant means that you have an in-house rabbi. The meat that arrives here should already be kosher and maybe have a certification on it. So what is the rabbi doing?
The word rabbi literally means my teacher. Think of him as spiritual quality control.
The rabbi does, very simple, make sure that something is kosher because many of the chefs are not adhering to kosher themselves.
Hi, my name is Chef Roger. I'm the executive chef at Meat Restaurant. We're going to talk today about some Wagyu LUBAVITCH steak.
First up, the marination.
The way we're going to cook these steaks, we're going to put some herb-infused olive oil on them. This Wagyu steak, it is aged in our house aging room for 45 days. It's all about putting in the extra effort and really getting our products to stand out from a flavor perspective. And then we're going to put our porcini rub on it to get a little bit more flavor from the porcini mushrooms and a little bit more color from the salt and sugar inside of the rub.
Next, the cooking.
We're going to cook them in our imported Jasper oven. Super important to get the coal super hot. As you can see here, the smoke coming off of it to get a beautiful sear. It'll be in this oven for about 15 to 20 minutes to get the best flavor out of our Wagyu ribeye. Being not Jewish myself, some of the differences between a regular New York City steakhouse and like a real high-end kosher steakhouse, the kosher meats, you can't use anything behind the 13th rib on the cow, so the back half of the cow can't really be used for us here in the restaurant. That means that they can't have New York strip, they can't have porterhouse, they can't have filet mignon, nothing with the top rounds or the rear shank. All right, guys, you guys want to give them a flip?
Eating kosher food anywhere. You could elevate your spiritual level, but here you're eating very high quality kosher food. In order for you to feel it, you have to believe in it. Sometimes your perception creates the reality.
I didn't realize before coming here, but this isn't just a steak dinner. This could be a transcending experience.
Absolutely.
All right, guys, we're done here.
After the meat's had a good rest, slice it up into those juicy bite-sized pieces. First, make a smooth swipe of Italian gravy made from the drippings of roasted meat, wine, broth, garlic, and herbs. Then lay the steak on top, sprinkle with rosemary, drizzle a touch of olive oil, and finish with a crown of crispy fried onions for that final crunch.
I didn't know whether or not Jewish people could drink. Rabbi, yes or no?
We definitely can drink.
To that I say,
L'chaim. Before we drink, we make a little blessing.
Please.
Joining me for this meal, Rabbi Meir Friedman, a 26-year-old LUBAVITCHer whose mission is to introduce the Jewish community to curious outsiders. Sitting next to him, Eitan Levine, a Jewish comedian based right here in New York.
Today, I have an exciting mission, which is to see if spending more money on Jewish food equals better Jewish food. It was my first time eating gefilte fish. Well, I've had bagels before, but these bagels were really good bagels. And then now we have this right here. We're gonna get to this in a moment. This is a steak, but it's not just a steak.
Is this a child? What is that? I'm gonna be eating it, you're like, actually.
Part of the fun today has been learning about the rules of kosher, and there are a lot of rules. The first thing I wanted to ask about now is beef consumption. I'm told that you cannot eat anything behind the 13th rib of the cow. There's a whole big section of the animal that you can't consume. So I thought perhaps they didn't use the back part because that's where the peeing and pooping happens. It has nothing to do with that.
Sorry, buddy.
Okay.
Have you heard of Jacob from the Torah, from the Bible?
Yeah.
I knew this, by the way. Jewish day at school, I knew this, okay?
Right on. He got into a fight with an angel, and the angel injured him on his back leg, on his thigh, and God told the Jewish people not to eat that part of the animal.
That part of the animal is called the Gid Hanasheh. Did I get it right? Boom!
So with these rules, a couple hundred years ago, are people really throwing away hundreds of pounds of beef?
100%.
Do you personally find that to be wasteful?
I mean, that's not the standard. It wasn't that you throw it out. You sell it to somebody else that doesn't need it. But my point is that even if not,
sure,
just because it's wasteful doesn't make us stop following the commandments.
Wow. This comes before the 13th rib. It's not just Wagyu, it's LUBAVITCH Wagyu. I was just talking to the owner of this restaurant. He said it's like the ultimate in kosher. Would you agree with that?
It's the highest standard.
Have you eaten LUBAVITCH beef before?
I have.
Did you find it to be more spiritual than other beef?
All food could be more spiritual.
Oh, I like that. I talked to Daniel earlier and he said you have to
believe in it.
I'm not even sure what I'm supposed to believe.
You're gonna leave this video being a Hasidic Jewish man. You're gonna be a whole other spiritual plane. You're gonna move to Williamsburg. You're gonna have 15 kids.
Rabbi, do you think that's likely?
No.
I love this contrast. So right here, he's put a delicious sauce on our stone plate. He's cooked it, well, it depends on the steak, but they've cooked it roughly medium. He seared it in something called a jasper. They've sliced it, and then this is the perfect outcome right here. Gentlemen, it's time to believe.
I ate too quickly.
Let's go for it. That's nice.
This steak is so good.
It's delicious. But so far, I'm just experiencing physical pleasure.
The rabbi can't stop laughing now.
I feel like you're transcending us right now. You're laughing, you're feeling joy.
I gotta make a blessing before I eat this. If I'm
not mistaken, it means blessed is the God who created hedge fund management. Is that not what it means? Blessed is Goldman Sachs. It's a pretty funny joke.
The more you laugh, the more he's gonna keep going.
Once you get into the spirit, you can't drop it, you know?
Yeah.
If I may actually address your point of having just a physical experience versus a spiritual experience.
Yeah.
Making a blessing before you eat a piece of meat, thanking God for creating this piece of meat, bringing that into the meal, that stops becoming just a physical meal.
I totally agree. I don't pray, but when I eat with friends who pray, it always makes me stop and think about what I'm grateful for. And I end up enjoying my friends or my company and the food so much more. The meat itself, what do you think?
Delicious.
Incredible.
It has a perfect sear on the outside, then the inside is temped perfectly. It's just a little bit pink, kind of medium. He's got this sauce base on the bottom. It doesn't need a ton of flavor, but this is truly delicious. So, do you adhere to a strict kosher diet yourself?
Is my dad watching? Obviously, yes.
What percentage of Jewish folks do you think are actually eating kosher?
Less than half.
Way less.
Among practicing Jews, is the number much higher?
100%. I would say that's one of the baseline definitions of being a practicing Jew, is keeping kosher.
I'd say like 70-80% is where I would put it at. When I stopped like keeping kosher, I still was identifying as like modern Orthodox. My personal journey with this is that, you know, like born and raised modern Orthodox, kept very, very kosher. Over time, the things that will make someone slip, I think, is less of like, I don't believe in God, so I'm gonna go eat this. And it's more just like a situationally, contextually. I remember the first time I turned a light bulb on the Sabbath, or the first time that I had like a non-kosher something. I remember like looking around like, oh, like is the lightning gonna strike me or anything? You know, and then it doesn't, and then you kind of like move on. And to be honest, I go in waves where I'll keep incredibly kosher, or you know, like and sometimes I just don't. But once again, never had shellfish. There it is.
One thing I've noticed in particular is that among the Jewish community, I can't believe the kind of wide range of culture and personality that exists. So on one end, you have very conservative, traditional, Orthodox Jews who don't want to appear on camera, and they think that just being on social media, period, could just lead to bad things, and they want to stay away from it. Okay, then we have the other side of the spectrum. Someone like you, who's a comedian, who's on stage, who wants that attention. How do you explain this insane range within the same community of people?
Because again, being Jewish is not what you do, it's who you are. You're born with it. You want to follow the laws, you want to follow some of them, you don't want to follow all of them. That doesn't make you less Jewish. That identity goes with you, you can't shake it.
I had an interesting experience a couple of years ago. I went to Birmingham, Alabama to help with some like tornado disaster relief cleanup. First time I'd ever like realized that like in a place like Birmingham, there's just not that many Jews out there. And Jews believe that we have to have 10 people there in order to pray. So the Chabad rabbi and the modern Orthodox rabbi and the conservative rabbi, no matter what specific minutia they believe in the religion, all have to daven together, they all have to pray together. So when your question of like, there's such a range, but at the end of the day, there is a commonality here that we can all go back to. And like there's a roots that we can all kind of like address, and it helps the community.
It's a time when you, as a Jewish people, to figure out what that means to be Jewish. What is our responsibility as Jewish people? And in the face of some crazy bad stuff that are going on, our response to that has to be crazy good. To take our Judaism to the next level.
Today I ate Jewish food at 3 different levels. Very affordable, very mid-price, and very expensive. But I can only choose one that gave me the most bang for my buck. That steak, although delicious, it didn't give me the spiritual experience I was hoping for, even though I tried my best to believe. That said, if I had to choose one, it would be location 2. The Bagel and Lox. Even though I enjoyed all the food today, even the Gefilte fish, you just can't go wrong with a classic bagel. Also, this is my first time having a bagel the way it's meant to be made and the way it's meant to be eaten. But that's just my opinion. Guys, let me know downstairs in the comments down below which of these foods from today you wish you could try. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Peace.